We're looking ahead at the week of May 4th through the 11th. Lots of cool stuff going on this week. And it's rolling us into a really big lunation. The two main players this week are Mercury and Pluto. So we're going to focus in on that. And just because I'm feeling like having a little bit of fun, we're going to be using classic songs from the 70s to hook into 4 different astrological aspects this week. Why? Why do that, Lindsay? Why? Why do you want to do that? If it's not your thing, I totally understand. My belief is the way we learn best is to hook onto something that we already have living rent free in our head. I know most people will know these songs, and just getting the idea, the story of them can help us hook into something that's a little bit more esoteric, a little more complex, which is what astrology is. It's quite complex, but it really is just life. So when we can add on to something we already have in our minds, we can put astrology onto it. That's kind of a cool way to learn something new. First up, we have Pluto going retrograde on the 4th of May. It's just a very long transit, okay? This goes from May 4th until October 13th, 2025. Why? Because Pluto moves really slow. We have the two extremes this week, Mercury, which is super speed, and Pluto, which is the slowest. It's the furthest out there of our astrological planetary archetypes. And so this is 5 months it'll take from moving 3rd degree of Aquarius to degree 1 of Aquarius. So what's happening here? Pluto is dismantling something. It's disintegrating it fully, completely. So it doesn't just go over one, it has to go over multiple times very slowly. And it's a complete disintegration. So that's what's happening, and that's why it takes a while. Now, the song that I have for us to connect to this, to understand all of Pluto and Aquarius, I feel like I hit the jackpot with this one as I was researching today. It's Pink Floyd's Us and Them from Dark Side of the Moon. Okay, I'm going to explain why. Hang on just a second. Let me get it up here for us. Okay, Aquarius, it's very much about the collective, and the individual is what's kind of weird sometimes to think about Aquarius, because individualism is so important to Aquarius as well, being a unique individual, but also about being part of a collective and the humanitarian vibes of Aquarius. Well, put that together, we have to do things for ourselves individually because that's all we really have control over. We have control over ourselves, how we feel, how we think, our mentality. That's pretty much it. But when we take care of ourselves, we are part of the collective, and the collective gets healthier if we're healthier. The more we know ourselves, the more we accept ourselves, the more authentic we are. As a human being, the more we accept ourselves, then we can do that for other people. That's what I love astrology. That's why I love it, because it helps me see that there's so many modes, there's so many methods, there's so many perspectives, and it's all all there in astrology. It's not just my perspective. There's more ways to be than just whatever I think it is. Anyways, us and them. There are 4 verses. The first verse is basically the core concept of the song. It's the division between us and them. And just that's really just not even a thing. Us, and we are us. We are them. We are both things. Me and you, God only knows it's not what we would choose to do. There's some resignation there, questioning what's the necessity of conflict. Apparently this verse is about war. And so there was a war going on in the 1970s. And also there was a lot of conflict in Pink Floyd at this time, but that's what the first verse is about. The second verse is the societal division and the lack of logic between them, black and blue, and who knows which is which and who is who. It's the discrimination and the arbitrariness of emphasizing the labeling and the categorizing people. Yeah, we are all different. It's just the same thing. Like, we are all individuals, but we're part of collective. Yes, we all have individual attributes in different cultures and different whatever. We're different, but we aren't different at the same time. It's one of those cognitive dissonance things. That's what verse 2 is about. Verse 3 is really exploring the cyclical nature of conflict and the driving force behind it. Without, and who will deny it's what the fighting's all about. Who's benefiting from making people fight and not see the truth that we really are one thing, that we're connected very deeply to each other? And the conflict is really often rooted in the struggle for power and control. And there are some people that will always benefit from power and control and separation. Then verse 4 is dealing with the consequences of neglecting our shared humanity, that the lack of empathy leads to conflict, but there also needs to be boundaries. There needs to be rules. Saturn is important too. That's what's going to be different when Saturn enters Aries. This difference from Saturn and Pisces. There's going to be much more of a understanding of what kind of individual boundaries we need to have. So the lyrics are, "You're not the only one in the queue." And that suggests that we're part of a shared experience. We're all in line. We all are experiencing life happening, a great divine mystery, comedy, and drama. Each person, each of us, 8 billion people on Earth, are having concurrently. It's really wild. It's kind of remarkable when you think about it. Pluto in Aquarius, transforming all of this, it really is this song completely from start to finish. Us and Them, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. My son is 18. He got my parents' old record player when they got their new old one. I don't know if I mentioned it. Did I? She got this really amazing 1970s record player that has all of the sound system, and it's insane. She got it all refurbished so that it plays perfectly, and it really is inspiring to put on a record, hear how music was meant to be a collective experience, not just an individual put your headphones on, like listen to your phone. It's so different when you're around other people listening to a record played as it's meant to be played. And Dark Side of the Moon, is there a better record from start to finish? It's just exquisite. It's like perfect. If you know another one that's in the same ballpark, let me know. Anyway, he got his own record player and set it up, and the first record he bought was Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. Back to the astrology, Pluto in Aquarius transiting backwards. It might be a little bit more of an introspective period. It's a 5-month section where we're letting go of some sort of habits or control or connection to that idea of our individuality versus who we are in a collective. Really depends on where it is in your chart, where Aquarius is, because that'll be thematically in your life what is being reconfigured. We're also talking about discussions with technology, AI, ethics, data privacy, all that jazz. So I'm encouraging you at this time, to these next 5 months, to really think about your individuality and how you are connected in the world. And the other thing is to be careful with what kind of advertisements you're listening to. Perhaps that's something you want to invest in, to not have ads on something if it really is starting to bother you. On May 7th, that's midweek. This is Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries. It's the planet of Mercury is how we think, we speak, we write, and it aligns with Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And it's in a very fiery sign. In Aries, it's all about courage and self-expression and identity. A conjunction means these two are coming onto the same degree and they're blending their energies. And it's a very powerful moment. It's very intense for 2 or 3 days before and 2 or 3 days after. Aries is that I am energy, and the Chiron wound there is, am I good enough? And Mercury is putting your mind on it to really think about those things, to contemplate it. The song is Janis Joplin's Me and Bobby McGee. It was released in 1970, written by Chris Christopherson. It was released after she passed away, and it became her biggest hit. And this song is about two people that are travelers starting in New Orleans and making their way west, hitchhiking, riding with truckers, and they have this love affair with each other. But at some point when they get to Salinas, she lets him slip away. He's looking for that home and she hopes he finds it. This is the individual section. So it's going from that Libra, the we are, to the Aries I am, where you have to really think about, who am I on my own? The Chiron points to wounds around our sense of self. So this could be bringing up thoughts about when you maybe were dismissed or didn't feel good enough, or times you felt criticized or something like that. This is a deep woundedness in that area where you may be ready to face it. And what I like about Chiron is that it's not so much about being a victim. We all have it. We all have it somewhere. It's all traveling through Aries, wherever it is for all of us. What the deal is ultimately with Chiron is alchemy, to change the lead to gold. So it's not so much about, oh, you hurt me and now you should say sorry for it. It's more like, okay, I'm processing that in my mind. I don't necessarily need somebody to say a certain thing for me to feel better about it. We're always needing to look to ourselves to come to some sort of peace. Of course, it helps, if you need to speak to somebody, or if there's a rift that needs mending, or a remark that somebody needs to understand that they didn't do the right thing, perhaps, or It might be a time to talk to somebody at work. Emotionally, this may be a little bit vulnerable. It's just like that song, Bobby McGee, talking about all these raw honesty things that she feels, that it's a chance to speak from her heart. And she knows that they have to go their separate ways. She still wishes him the best, but it's time to move forward on her own. She doesn't necessarily need him, but she's not going to forget him. On the weekend, May 10th, Mercury's going to enter Taurus. Mercury's been in Aries and been there for a while, moving through. When it enters into a new sign, we get a whole new vibe. So earth sign, Taurus, stability, fixed earth. How we communicate is Mercury. So it's going to turn a little bit more into a practical side. It's less fiery where it's been in Aries. And it's going to last until the end of the month, May 27th, 2025. So 2.5 weeks of this. It moves quickly, but it's going to ground us and our mind into practical matters and our thoughts, our conversations. It's bringing us into a more of a take it easy kind of mode. It was a song that launched the Eagles in 1972, even though it was written partially by Jackson Browne and then Glenn Frey. So what happened is Jackson Browne was driving through Winslow, Arizona, and he actually had his car stall out and his car broke down in Winslow, Arizona. It's part of the song. There's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. Slowing down, that's our keyword here for Taurus and Mercury. We're slowing down a little bit and appreciating some beauty, a beautiful man standing on the street, I guess, So they put in Winslow, Arizona, people go there as pilgrimage to go to Winslow, Arizona, and that corner, and there's a statue there and stuff like that. The lyrics go, take it easy, don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. It's a little bit more of a laid back, grounded approach to life, which really reflects on Taurus. And maybe a little bit more about keeping things simple. Mercury and Taurus helps us align with our communication a little bit more clearly, more deliberately, taking it slow. Just you're sort of like if you have a car break down in Winslow, Arizona, you're just going to take it a little bit slower. This is that period of time. It's encouraging us to connect with nature. Probably anytime we have Taurus, it's a mental connection to taking maybe a break, going out for a walk. Take it easy in a way that brings that little bit more optimism, building a secure, meaningful life through those simple things, really contemplating what does that feel like? How does it feel to be alive? How does it feel to be human? Putting that into your mind. On May 11th, Mercury in Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius. We're talking about a fixed square. I think fixed squares are probably some of the most uncomfortable just because their fixed energy is so stubborn. Mercury in Taurus wants to just take it easy, like that song says. And Pluto in Aquarius wants active disintegration of something massive, huge things that are moving us into the future. And so Mercury in Taurus is just like, bro, no, I need to take it easy. And Pluto in Aquarius is us and them. Come on, let's talk about this and let's make things happen because we all need to understand that we are all one. Square is a 90-degree angle and it's most intense the day of, so May 11th, the day before and the day after. And the song that we have for this one is actually Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. It was written also in 1970 or produced in 1970, Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. And the song lyrics go like this: we come from the land of the ice and snow, from the midnight sun where the hot springs flow. And then there's that, it's very bold. It's very energetic. It's Viking energy. And there's some sort of, the Vikings really feel like Taurus too, right? That they very are connected to the earth and to Mother Nature, but they're also pushing forward, very, very Aquarian, like they're moving into new areas and they want to fight for it. There's a conflict. So there may be some conflict during this time, some sort of clash over what you may want to do to pull back and be more chill, more take it easy. And the other side, that's like, there's action, there's a retrograde motion as well. And they're coming in, like Mercury's moving forward quickly, Pluto's moving backwards. And so they are coming into a deep conflict here. So the deal is it's going to be flowing into a very complex full moon on the 12th. They pretty much are concurrent. So I'd say around this period of time, take a little bit of that active principle, whatever that you need to on either side. You might need to pick a side because when there's a conflict, there's usually a winner. And it depends on your chart. It really depends on how it's going to come through for you. It may be just an inner struggle that what you're feeling about inside of you. Like you want to make things more simple, but you see how complex the world is. So there could be some friction, inner friction as well. The Immigrant Song has a real heavy Nordic, Thor kind of thing. I think it was actually the opening song in Thor 2, if you remember, if you watched that movie. Yeah, I think it was Thor 2. The Vikings are really the immigrants because they travel from place to place to take over and integrate themselves. The song is musically complementing the themes of conquest and the journey, and that's that fight, that friction. The Immigrant Song is known as the early example of heavy metal, like the beginning of heavy metal music, and that's influence blending rock and mythology and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. How this may be coming through for you, it could be sparking some thoughts on how to create balance. What do you need to release? It could be in a creative project, or maybe talking to somebody really clearly about what you need in your work or your life or your family. It's just a few days. Mercury moves really fast, but it could be a potent period of time, very bold, very transformative, as it illuminates something coming into that scorpionic full moon on the 12th. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. If you have any records that you recommend for my mom's record player, I would love to hear. I'm looking for something that's just going to be life-changing. Like, oh, I forgot about that. That would be such a great record. Yeah. And I bought my first record. It's actually a Ray LaMontagne record. I love Ray LaMontagne. Ouroboros is another really good record from start to finish. If you haven't heard that, gosh, it's so good. But that's not the record I bought. I think it was his 20th anniversary of Trouble, I'm not sure, but it's a special record that's green, and it was my first record I've ever bought, but I didn't realize it was a pre-release, so I won't get it until June. Anyway, that's my story. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. I like you just the way you are, and I will talk to you soon.